We'd like to give you a Christmas present right now. This is a new song. We've never played it before, but from us to you. 2, 3.
There was so much to do. It's the building of Paisley Park. But after Paisley was built, now you have at least 75 to 90 employees at any given time. I knew Prince needed to be more than just a pop star. He needed to expand his brand. It would help him by showing that he has this business acumen. So it worked for him to have a club. He was growing. But you can't open up a business and not run the business. You need to be there.
Live for love, say.
The Diamonds and Pearls tour was a great introduction to touring life for me.
We did come from different places as far as putting that Diamonds and Pearls band together. Sonny came from the same place as Prince, literally and musically in a lot of ways. Rosie had the gospel background. You know, I knew Stevie Wonder. Marvin Gaye. And I knew Sly. But I didn't know Larry. We were on the break when he's like, Tommy, you ever heard Grand Central Station? And I was like, nope. And he was like, that explains it. I can't believe I was so out of my element. I didn't have that repertoire, but I didn't know that next level. Working with Prince, like going to school and a night school. And it was live or die.
I had a chip on my shoulder about hip-hop ever since I saw a turntable rocking the whole room. Prince says, go out to the Glam Slam, go sit in the DJ booth, go see what the dude's spinning.
We opened up the club in Minneapolis, and then we had a franchise in Yokohama, Japan. And that club was beautiful. We had a restaurant. And then the one in Los Angeles was Vertigo. It was a club called Vertigo, a very successful club. So we changed it into Glam Slam Los Angeles. And that club definitely had Prince's hand all over that venue. That one represented his vision. In the club in Miami, when I signed off on the contract, the owner says, you know, it's really weird you guys bought this venue because this is where you had the end of the Purple Rain tour party. It wasn't just me. It wasn't just Prince. The staff and employees running it and developing it. The club had to stand on its own 2 feet. I didn't want the bathtub. I didn't want the motorcycle. I didn't want him to have to show up every weekend and perform a concert in order to make the club work.
You know, whether somebody's rapping or singing, my job is the same. The only way you know whether what you're doing is right or wrong is what Prince has to say about it.
Everything meant so much. By the time the Diamonds and Pearls tour happened, some of those songs we'd been playing for a while, it's like the longer we rehearsed something, even if it was a new song, the more it would evolve and change.
You know, from studio to live, from performance to performance. It was a period different from any other period of Prince's canon. It's difficult to explain the transition.
My first show with Prince was at the Tokyo Dome in April 1992. Before every performance, we all gathered in his dressing room to pray, and we never took the stage without it. The Tokyo Dome was almost to capacity, 48,000. Before the show started, I peeked out at the Jumbotron. The symbol that would become his name landed on the screen, introducing Maite, footage of me walking in Cairo, and Prince's single, Sweet Baby, ads for Carmen Electra's forthcoming album. I was excited to be part of it.
We were backstage. It's about 10 minutes before the show. We usually have a prayer. I said, good luck. He said, don't ever say that to me. We're going to go out and kick some ass because we practice. It's not about luck. Luck is for people who don't work.
The huge love symbol set piece rose up in the air to reveal me standing there in my belly dancing outfit. Wardrobe made Prince a yellow and purple outfit to match it.
Every year we have a color, this year's yellow.
For 2 hours, Prince sang, danced, shredded guitars, and played the piano.
Well, Diamonds and Pearls era, It was the early days of using samples live.
Samplers, electronic drum loops, and all that.
We'd jam forever, and we were triggering everything live. The first loop Prince ever played was Daddy Pop. What was that loop?
That was Rock Steady.
Tommy on the one, break it down. We were pushing the technology to the brink. I was covering a lot of ground, hitting samples, and playing traditional keyboard parts.
Every night, I danced to thunder. I'd feel a rush of adrenaline, the roar of the crowd. I dodged off stage for a quick change to a chiffon dress with ballerina tights and point shoes. I danced to Diamonds and Pearls. And then I had 45 minutes to change for Cream.
We don't know what we're going to play, what Prince is going to play. The band doesn't know. Prince just turns around and goes, Cream. And the whole band goes, oh my God.
And some of them nights on the tour, we would call out something we hadn't even played in the show. We're like, oh shit, we scrambling to make sure we remember. If you did remember all you were doing, ad-libbing.
We were always changing things up, moving things around. And Prince had a very short attention span.
Absolutely. You have to be really flexible.
Do you already know what sort of songs you'll be playing?
No, to be honest, I don't have a clue what we're going to play tonight. I really don't. It could be just improvisational from note one, or it could be any number of things what we've been rehearsing, and it could be anything. It could be prepared or unprepared. We're prepared to do things like this because a lot of extracurricular activity.
We go dance up on little boxes in little tiny outfits. Well, you know Prince, he kind of likes to do the sexy thing. We don't have to wear anything we don't want to wear, but we do have to wear little things.
We were in Japan for a week.
How did Japan cope with that sort of fairly raunchy style?
They were very polite. They all clap in unison.
All of them.
All of them. The whole
20,000
stadium.
people are all going
Clapping in unison.
After Tokyo, we went to Australia and did 14 shows in 20 days.
Yeah, we did one here in Melbourne too.
Yeah.
At the Palace.
At the Palace.
Were you guys there? Was anyone there?
The Palace?
We are having the best time.
He knew how to read the crowd, and he gave everything, which made all of us want to give everything with him.
I guess I'm the official band leader now, and I feel honored to have that position, especially in a band like this, because this is my favorite band. I mean, I think he's taken music to another level, and I'm glad to be a part of that.
And the fans are unanimous in their praise, saying you're the hottest band in the world. Does it feel like you're the hottest band in the world?
We are the hottest band in the world.
There's no doubt about that.
No doubt.
Greatest show on earth.
And I can't even grin when I say it, you know what I'm saying? We just funky. God bless us because we funky.
Oh, yeah. When you have a person that works that hard, you want to put your 100% also, because he's a worker, you know, and he expects you to do, and work just as hard as he is, so.
You always play sellout shows. How do Australian audiences measure up?
I like Australia audiences.
Oh yeah, we'll be back.
Audience is pretty hype. I mean, that helps us a lot on stage when they're singing the song with you. I mean,
and have never even heard it.
Can't ask for nothing better than that, to have a crowd of people just singing everything you say.
Pretty exciting.
That's pretty exciting.
Enjoying it?
Oh yeah.
Very much so.
Oh yeah.
Very much so.
It's real compared to, Europe was one of his best places, and Japan and stuff, but since he's never been here, we've never really known, how good it can be.
Right.
It's pretty happening. We'll be back.
We'll be back.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we'll be back.
You bring the little guy with you too?
Oh yeah.
I've been
He
shopping.
hasn't bought us anything, Prince.
Music is number one in our lives. It's not all about the lights all the time and the big production. It's that we love to play, and sometimes we're tired, but we want to still bring the music to them.
Prince wanted me near. The fact that we were close put some distance between me and the band. People started questioning why I was there.
It wasn't nothing that we weren't embracing her He liked what he saw with the belly dance and that stuff. When you look at that video, when we filmed it, it was just they were on the mind.
And what's the new thing? Who's this girl?
I don't know, man. Something like that.
Where's she from? Egypt or something? What they got to do?
You gonna be doing up. If you gonna fit in, we ain't gonna treat you no different from nobody else. We're gonna give you a hard time and you're gonna work.
One morning in Australia, I went for pancakes with a male band member, and while we were sitting there, Prince called me. "Where have you been?" "Eating some pancakes." "With a guy?" "With who?" I told him. That sounds like a guy. He was displeased. No one wanted to hang out with me after that. I wasn't his girlfriend, but that didn't matter.
How long does it take to put up stage?
We'll normally start around 8 in the morning and we're done around 4 for a sound check. And then he'll walk in and we'll do a sound check for a couple hours and open the doors.
The equipment from the show would have to be boxed up immediately and sent on to the next city.
I'm in charge of moving this production around.
18-wheelers hauled the set and gear.
Putting it up and taking it out and interfacing with local labor and local sound companies, lighting companies and things like that. I'm in charge of our own lights and sound and moving it from place to place and basically doing the impossible. But I have a really good crew. I have people that work very, very hard.
Brilliant. That's what it's all about. Thank you very much.
There were 3 buses. One for crew, one for the band, and one for Prince. We had a 2-week break and then hit Europe. Something I eventually learned. Prince's top girlfriend was always in Minneapolis. When you came to Minneapolis, you were the girl on her way in. When you left Minneapolis, you were the girl on her way out.
Yeah, Carmen. So Carmen, she asked, she's like, how do I get him to write for me and get me some music? I stay on your craft. I said, but do not give up the draws. If you have sex with him, you ain't gonna get that out. She's like, well, that's not what I'm trying to do. I said, I understand that. So fast forward, he was writing this album for her, which he did, and he was bringing her out on the road with us.
I opened up for him on the Diamonds and Pearls tour in Europe.
At Prince concerts, there's a lot of fans. It was crazy. I can't even tell you how many people were there. And just to get up in front of thousands and thousands of people and perform, and I can't even describe the feeling.
I had this band with this guy, Greg. We formed a group, and we were playing at Prince's club, the Glam Slam. We were like the house band, which is when he decided to take that band and make us Carmen Electra's band to go on tour with them for Diamonds and Pearls as the opening act. You know, Carmen was telling me like, oh man, he likes you. He just like thinks you're like pretty good. You do all this programming and stuff, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, get out of here, you know. And she's like, no, I'm telling you, he says he's going to get you in his band. And then Maite would tell me the same thing.
I mean, she was just there a hot minute and nobody understood why.
It was challenging, but I just went for it and, did the best I could.
She was on tour to promote her album, even though the reviews weren't great.
I was just on a certain leg of the tour.
3-4 shows in, he's sending her home. She's in one of the dressing rooms, emotional, and she calls me in there. I don't know, I don't understand why we're going home. We only been out here for a couple shows and blah, blah, blah. I said, did you give up the draws? And she said, well, it didn't start out like that. That's why you're going home.
He lives in the now. I think he just moved on to the next thing.
Belgium, the Netherlands, Germany, Ireland, England, Scotland, back to Germany and the Netherlands, and then France.
The tour can be draining. Physically, everything, because he's asking a lot of it. We changed the show every day. One night, the band was like, we was a little tired. I was MD at the time. And he says, oh, the band is a little moody tonight. He said, you know what? I don't care, because it ain't about that. This is about the fans. They saved up their money. They opened their calendars. We're going to give them the best that we can do. So you tell the band, I don't care. Now, you said it a different way.
I was in only 2 or 3 numbers. It was fun. We'd stumble back onto the bus and wait to see if there was an after show, another 2 hours on stage. Sometimes he just wanted me to come and dance while he played guitar. Sometimes he'd go by himself. As the tour headed across Europe, the German producer released a single I'd made when I was 15. Too dramatic? Some members of the band got hold of it. Too dramatic? I was now touring with the biggest rock star in the world. My first single was out there, and the janitor at the record label made more money than I did. During the Diamonds and Pearls tour, my relationship with Prince became stressful. He wanted everyone to look the way they did in rehearsal. One night, he had come in to see me. "Is that yours?" He looked at me skeptically. I said, "I'm not eating it." This girl stepped up and said, "That's mine, sir." He left without saying anything. 20 minutes later, the tour accountant came in and said, "I have to dock your pay this week." What? I went back to the dressing room. I'm not putting up with it. I'm not going to let him humiliate me like that. Lori and Rabia were appalled that any girl would talk smack about Prince. I did get some sympathy from Rosie. I passed a room. Some of the people from the band were inside. They were talking about me, laughing. "She stuffs her bra. Why is she here?" My jaw dropped. Seriously? Diamond and Pearl were laughing at me. I went into my room and shut the door. Prince called me a little while later. "They know their time is limited. I've moved on." What exactly did they say?
The relationship that I saw with he and Maite is she allowed him to get beyond himself. He had trouble not being Prince, not being the persona.
He wrote to me, "Women are jealous of you because they know you're a virgin. They don't want you around because they feel less than you. Anytime someone tripped on your presence was because of jealousy or fear."
I don't want to go too deep into anything, but I just found out a lot of stuff.
Maite was the girl who took her place. And I remember the phone call. She called me. She was like, "It's another girl here named Maite, Shane, and I don't like it at all. It makes me feel so bad. Sometimes I just want to come back home because it's gone. And all the attention is going to her. And I see them treating her the way that they used to treat me."
After that tour, I was back in Minneapolis and I was really bored. I felt really lonely and bored because he was out there for a long, quite some time. It kind of clicked in my head. He has a house in LA and he's always in LA. In LA, I can take major dance classes.
At the end of the tour, we were in London we were doing he had 8 shows at it was Hammersmith, I'm not sure. I remember just kind of telling him at the end of it, "Hey man, it was a real pleasure being out here with you on the road," and this, that. And he was real cryptic. "Your work is not done here."
When he came back, I just went to him and said, "Can I live in LA?" And he was like, "Okay." And I explained why I wanted to live there. And so I was in LA for quite some time.
He would be the first to tell you, no, he was not perfect. And I don't think he ever tried to make others think that he was. He was just him. And he was very good at being Prince.
We were really, really tight after the Diamonds and Pearls tour and that album. So we were just on fire. We were, the band was just hype, ready to go in the studio, ready to record, it was just a fantastic position at that time.
It was a very positive environment with the band and with Prince. I think he was happy with the singles that were being chosen. The sound of the New Power Generation, I think, was much more commercial than what Prince was doing prior to. Somebody in wardrobe went to work for Janet Jackson during that time. And she said, "I just did a month with Janet Jackson. I never knew how good you guys were." And she said, "One day I decided to get down to wardrobe to organize some things. And I heard the band playing, sound check started." And she said to herself, "What are they doing here already?" And she ran out to the auditorium. It was just the tracks. There wasn't nobody on stage. We were live and Janet was Memorex.
Janet Jackson has left A&M Records to sign with the British-based Virgin label for a sum rumored to be between $40 and $50 million. Virgin chief Richard Branson likened her to a Rembrandt that had suddenly become available.
Her contract was up with A&M Records, and so all the major labels wanted Janet at that point. She became the highest paid recording artist ever.
People used to try to compare him to Michael. Prince was determined to get those big record contracts, just like him and Janet.
The artist getting ready to go into contract renegotiation, it
certainly benefited him to have a more commercial successful record, and Diamonds and Pearls gave him that.
When RCA Records signed Elvis Presley back in 1956, they paid $35,000, unheard of at the time. Here's an unheard of figure for our times, $100 million. That's the deal Prince cut with Warner Brothers Records.